Hello, welcome to this video. My name is Miriam and I love everything about books. In 2021 I challenged myself to read 365 books, and weekly I do a weekly wrap-up video in which I tell you about the books I read in the past week. And today I'm going to show you the books I read from Friday the 22nd of January until Thursday the 28th of January. And I can tell you I read a lot of books. And when I'm talking about the books I read, I mean the books I've finished. In the previous weekly wrap-up video I told you about the Dutch book I was reading, Journey Through the Night. It consists of 4 volumes and I finished the 4th book, but I already told you in the previous weekly wrap-up video what I thought of that book, so I wouldn't tell you more about that, but that's number 1. The second book I finished in the past week was Crazy Busy by DeYoung. I thought the book had a great view on busyness as a Christian, and I learned quite a few things from it, so I gave it 4 stars. So on Saturday I did a readathon. I tried to read as much as possible, and I filmed it, and that video will be up on Thursday. So the next few books I will only show you and not tell you what I thought of it, because I do that in the readathon video. The first one is The Reading Life by C.S. Lewis. The second one is Duivelsplan by Jacobsen. It's actually a translated book. The original title is Interview with the Devil. And The Girl in the Blue Coat. I actually finished 4 books on the readathon day. The 4th one was the second book in the City Garden trilogy. I told you about that in last week's video, and the second book was even worse, and the 3rd book was absolutely the worst. The characters are very inconsistent and things happen that I don't like. I listened to this one, but I read the last few chapters because I had still an hour left of listening and I wanted to finish that book, so I read it as an ebook. And the 3rd book I didn't even bother to listen to, but read it because that would be much faster. I'm glad I finished it. I love feel-good stories, I honestly do, but this felt so cliche and there was a lot of repetition. I'm not going to waste more words on it. Let's just continue to the next book. I finished this book on Sunday. It's Tussen regels by Hauck. It's a translated book. The original title is The Fifth Avenue Story Society. In my book haul video I said that this book was about a book club. Well, it turned out I was wrong. It's not about a book club, but about a story society, and they're not reading books, but they are telling each other their stories, and it's really great. All the characters in the book had a great backstory and I loved hearing more about them. And the thing is that from reading this book I wanted to write. Books that make me want to write are in my opinion the best books. So I really enjoyed this book and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The 9th book I read was And the Shofar Blue by Francine Rivers. Before you misunderstand me, I really like the books by Francine Rivers. I've read almost all of them. I think the only one still missing is The Lotus Garden. I still have to read that one. I did not like this book. The book starts with a church that is sort of dying. There are only old people coming to church and, well, their pastor is going away, so they are getting a new pastor, a young pastor, and he attracts loads of young people to the congregation. That's great, but the heart of the pastor is not really into it, and he gets astray and he is going to build a mega church and all things go wrong, and one of the main characters was the pastor and I really didn't like him. Some things were very cliché, and like in the church they stop singing the old hymns but they start singing worship songs that consist of the 4 same lines. In my opinion that's a bit overdoing it. Francine Rivers was really trying too hard to explain that this church was moving away from the truth very far. However, I did like the ending of the book, and therefore I changed my opinion from like 2 stars to 3 stars. The last book I finished this week was I Owe You One, and that wasn't a great book either. The main character was really childish. There were bits of the story I did not really believe, like they were too far-fetched. But however, just like with And the Shofar Blue, the ending was great. So I ended up giving this one 2.5 stars. This book was easily my favourite book of the week, even though I read 10 books, so I had a lot to choose from, but this really was my favourite book of the week. On the 28th of January I had read 28 books, so I'm right on track with my challenge. Let me know in a comment, how is your reading challenge this year coming along? Are you on track? Are you behind? Are you way ahead? Just let me know. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to follow me on my journey where I read 365 books in a year, then consider subscribing to my channel. For now, happy reading!